Hello, 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 my little ponies, and welcome back to some more Rune Factory. Yeah! If I'm correct, I still need to water all of these fields down here. So, I had my weekly pony game today, as I told you about, Azura, and... well, I mean, the party did decide on something that they should do.
Yes.
Uh, so there is, for lack of a better words, a well that the party had explored in a previous session. The well is essentially just a straight tunnel that leads to a little pond that's filled with Bitacudas, essentially flying piranhas. Oh, that's already all been watered. Okay, cool.
And they pushed Timmy in?
No. So they go in there, knowing that there are these, flying piranhas, and they go, okay, well, it's like, wait, I'm a Pegasus. Can I just bring, like, a thundercloud in and, like, strike this water with lightning and kill them all? I'm like, well, you can certainly go for that, sure. You have that power as a Pegasus. You can manipulate clouds. So, Pegasus flies out, flies back in, bringing a cloud. It's like, oh yeah, absolutely. Instead of trying to strike the water with lightning, instead they decide to use the cloud to make mist. Make some fog in the room so the Bitacudas won't be able to find them. Sure, fine. Don't necessarily want to harm the
That's
fish.
better than going for outright murder in a pony game, sure.
They realize that there are no other exits to the room above the surface of the water. And the new unicorn that's joined the party, because everyone wants to make unicorns and earth ponies, only one of the, I think, 8 party members is a Pegasus. So the new unicorn that joined this session has a pony morph. It can turn a creature into another creature. And they decided, hey, let's start changing the party one by one into, like, sea ponies. And we can swim around and see if there's another exit under the water. It's like, okay, cool, that sounds like fun, cool. So of course the unicorn starts by targeting the Pegasus to turn into a sea pony, who is flying above the water, and sea ponies don't fly, so she wound up falling right into the water, into the swarm of piranhas. It's like, I'm not ambushing the party with piranhas. They knew they were there and tried to take steps to avoid them, and then apparently forgot that they were there. And unfortunately, by that point, someone had to go, like, right away. So we rolled for initiative and ended the session. Also, 2 of the party members wound up bringing their little sister to the game due to a bit of miscommunication. So now, there's, like, all of these ponies. Was it? I think it's 5 ponies? 6 ponies? And a filly. Yeah, it's six ponies and a filly, so 7 ponies in total against a swarm of Bitacudas. That's how we're gonna start off the next session. So, fun. Normal pony things, right? That's how, that's what ponies do? Yeah, I think that's what ponies do. And of course, tomorrow is my D&D session where I'll actually get to be a player. Hopefully things go well. I showed you my character sheet that I made. Oh, you distracted by something? Okay.
Oh, thought I put myself on push to talk because I also am playing a game, but I also want the audio from the game.
Ah. Do. Yeah, it's a real shame that the person I was supposed to meet up with on Saturday just never showed up, period. Like, they weren't online on Discord, but they were on, like, Do Not Disturb. I sent them a message anyway because we had agreed to meet up. And then they just never responded back. All Discord said was that they were apparently listening to Spotify all day.
Weird.
Too busy listening to Spotify to, you know, answer my notifications. But hey, at least I didn't have to go out walking on Saturday. Do. Yum, yum, yum. So, what game are you playing? What new fun game have you stumbled upon? Speaking of new games, there's a new pony game coming out in, like, less than 2 weeks. And it's going to be multiplayer? So I've already arranged a group play experience with that. So, you know, tune in 2 weeks on Saturday for the first episode of that, if we actually get around to playing it on the day it releases. Otherwise, it'll be the Saturday after if we wind up playing it on Sunday. Everything is fine. I guess I can speed this up.
Rar.
Hi. So, Zero, what are you playing?
The second chapter of that Homestuck point-and-click adventure.
Ah. So I was watching YouTube recently and I saw, was it a LAN party? And the video is like the host of the party just going around and seeing people's weird computer builds. And giving away like free high-end computer parts to them because the video was sponsored like that. And so I'm just trying to think, it's like, okay, what's like the jankiest computer setup that I could possibly like authentically make? Like, for quite a while I did really want to have a computer setup that was like in like a Nintendo. Because I think that would be pretty neat. Especially if you could make the cartridge tray into a working disk drive. Or maybe you could put like the front I/O in there or something, you know. Lift up the lid, boop, boop, boop. Close it when you're done. That sort of thing. But then I found something that is incredibly janky of a setup that I can technically do. You know how I have this handheld gaming computer? The one I'm using right now to play Rune Factory 2? I mean, on the one hand, I could just use this plug... I mean, heck, don't even have to plug it into a monitor. Just have it be plugged into the LAN and just work off of this. And, like... Unless the LAN is Wi-Fi, I don't know, whatever. And just have this just be the whole setup. That's not exactly janky, it's an all-in-one unit. But I do have cables to plug it into, you know, USB ports, computer, power, all that stuff. But it plugs into the handheld through USB-C. So strictly speaking, I could just plug my phone into that. Unfortunately, phones can't play Steam games. Steam won't allow it, because it's lame like that. So I need to get like a jailbroken cell phone that can play Steam games. And just kind of be sitting there, have the phone sideways on a stand, use that as a screen, bring in a proper... No, bring in one of those, like, pocket flip-out keyboards. Basically just have the entire setup so small and portable, it could fit in a purse. Phone, a couple of cables, folding keyboard, a mouse, and wireless earbuds for the audio. So yeah, this is my gaming setup. What do you think? Let's do some cyberpunk. Oh, speaking of playing games and stuff, I had one of those Nintendo coupon whatever things that was about to expire, and I decided to use it to buy Super Mario Bros. Wonder. However, the issue with the coupon, is that you have to have like an active Nintendo account to use it. So instead of just getting a regular like Nintendo Online subscription, I decided to get like the advanced one that lets me play N64 games. And there are, I think, at least 2 games on there that I have not played for years that I kind of want to do Let's Plays of now. And when I say haven't played in years, we haven't even so much as talked about them. I'm 90% certain that we have not talked about either of these games. Maybe? No. I think we mentioned one of them once briefly. One of them I actually have, I think. I'm pretty sure I actually have it for N64. And I do have a cable set up to run N64 games on my computer through the capture card. Oh my... Wait a second. Jakey setup, bring console, bring the adapter thing so you can run console AV lines through HDMI. Yes, I have an adapter for that. Plugs into USB to power itself. So plug that into the phone so you can try to use the phone as a screen for playing and also try to record the gameplay that way. In the phone gaming setup. Instead of having a proper monitor for gaming, it's just like a giant magnifying glass like you might see on like Futurama. I just have like a nice stand to hold up my phone in the right place, giant magnifying glass so I can actually see what it says on there. Ooh. Could I connect my phone to the VR to play the games from a VR perspective? I know you can connect a computer to VR, so you don't actually need a monitor. I mean, yeah, bring the handheld computer. Just basically plug that in. Mouse and keyboard. Bring the VR for a proper screen. Mouse. I forget, can this handheld play Cyberpunk? I think it can. I think we've done that before. I think we were able to do it. So... yeah, just... okay, now I kind of want to try playing Cyberpunk like that. I have all the stuff I could try doing. Because, I mean... trying to play a regular game with the VR headset connected to the computer, it doesn't suddenly make the game into a VR game. So you still have to use, like, mouse and keyboard, or controller, to, like, control yourself around. But it just makes it look like you are, say, sitting in a big room playing the game on a computer, or that you have the monitor 2-inch, like, you know, 2 millimeters from your face. But, I mean, even if it doesn't become a VR game, it still seems pretty nifty to try to do. If you ever get your hands on a VR headset and want to try something really weird and out there, try watching a video on it. And it's like, oh, what's so great about that? It just looks like, you know, a floating screen. It doesn't have to look like just a floating screen. You can make it look like you're inside a giant ball of the video in question, with it on all sides of you. Where if you do that on a video that's not intended for, it starts to look really weird, but it's definitely worth an experience. It's definitely worth the experience if you are not prone to motion sickness. If you are prone to motion sickness, sit down first. I don't know. Depends on how motion sick prone you are, really. Yum, yum. Azura, are you prone to motion sickness?
Rar, rar, rar. No.
Cool. Well, if you ever want to get motion sickness, I know just the VR game for you. Now, that sounds a bit disingenuous. It's not that the game itself will give you motion sickness. It's... if you do the same idiotic thing that I did in the game, you will get motion sickness. It's actually a pretty cool game, and it's not... and it's like, you don't even have to stand up to play. It's made to be played while sitting down. I absolutely cannot remember the name of it. But you are like a spy, sitting in a kayak, going down a river, and you have like 5 or so guns at your side. And your overall goal is to basically make it all the way down the river without being spotted. So, of course, you could, you know, use your silenced guns and shoot all of the guards that are in your way. But that's bad to do. So you basically have to work between getting the kayak paddles and kayaking your way down the stream, and then, you know, stop yourself before you get too close, pull out, like, your gun. I'm partial to the sniper rifle. I just like that one the best. Look around, maybe shoot out some lights, shoot, like, you know, shoot the switches to open the gates that are in your way, and then grab your paddle and keep on going. Go to the next place. You know, get to the next checkpoint, solve its little problem. Try not to kill anybody, etc. It was such a cute little game, but so, like, there's this one part where there's, like, a big old metal structure with, like, people in it. And I kayaked around underneath, because there's no security looking underneath. And there's a handle that you're supposed to be able to hold on to, and then, like, use your other hand to, like, open up, like, the trap door, and then do some stuff, like, I don't know, shoot around in there, or maybe even climb out. Probably not. But you're supposed to hold on to this handle. However, I noticed that because of how VR works, like in a regular kayak, you basically cannot just move from side to side. It's not made to be moved from side to side. That's not how it works. In real life, if you're in that situation, you grab the handle and you try to move yourself to the side, you would not move. If you tried really hard, you might knock yourself over. But in VR doesn't have that same, like, resistance. All it knows is that, like, you're holding on like this, and now you're holding on like this. So the VR doesn't care how a kayak is supposed to move. It will just move you in relation to, you know, where you're holding on to. And I don't know if it was just my brain going, this is not how a kayak is supposed to move, or if it was just how quickly I was able to move left and right. So I figured out I didn't just, like, move over a bit and then stop. I moved, went, oh, and then shook my arm back and forth to see how fast I could keep going. Until my brain told me to stop. And that I was being dumb and to turn off the game. And I never actually played it again because, well, actually, no, I did try to play it once more again, but as soon as it started, I started to get sick. Like, I actually had to stop playing VR for, like, a month. Because, yeah. Turns out my brain really didn't like that. Really didn't like me being an idiot. So it decided to punish me. But I'm still looking for nice, new, cool, hot VR games to play. I still want a good, proper farming one. I found one that could maybe be fun with people. But it's like, I'm not, you know, a cooperative gamer. I generally just game by myself. I need some people. I need some game that I can play several hours on alone. I looked up to my computer, where I happened to have OBS on my second monitor, because I was just recording on there earlier. And I was like, huh. basic backdrop game not found display. The audio bars are not moving. Something is going very wrong. It's like, oh, no, play on the handheld. OBS is really supposed to be still working. It sure looks like it does. It is. Sure looks like it does, is. Alright, so... Oh gosh. I totally forget if I actually... I think I did an episode on that game. But it's just to complain about how broken the tutorial was. It was so... stupid. It's like, okay, pick up some rocks and sticks from off of the ground. I was able to pick up some rocks, but I was not able to find any sticks I could pick up. Or the other way around. I think it was I couldn't pick up any sticks, period. There were no sticks on the ground that I could interact with. I walk around, still nothing, still nothing. I had to, like, restart the game and log into, like, a different tutorial lobby. Because it wasn't single player, this was online. Because the one that I was in was bugged, and I could not actually advance the tutorial. I think I've only played a few games where the tutorial can get bugged out to the point of not being able to finish it. I didn't really think if there were any more, but... don't think so. Don't know. Hey, Zara, do you know any games like that where you can break the tutorial to become unwinnable? Or the tutorial itself is just plain broken?
I don't know if this quite counts, and I don't know if it was just random chance that this did this. But when I was first introduced to, I think it was Might and Magic 3, the first level, the one that's supposed to be your tutorial map or whatever, it's possible to lose it, as you can with any, map in that game, in theory. But assuming you do everything right, it eventually becomes impossible to win or lose. Because there's an oversight in the map that cuts you off from accessing the rest of it, and also the enemies from accessing your side. So you eventually just reach a stalemate.
God, what was that? There was a game I was reading a discussion forum about recently, and I don't remember which game it was, but where someone had mentioned that, like, there was an achievement for attacking a character but not killing them, or something. You could get something if you attacked a certain character and didn't kill them, but because their stats were so incredibly high, one attack, even unarmed, no, right. It was Stuck in Time, where if you attack the Chancellor, but then lose the fight, you get an achievement. But by the time they went to try to get that achievement, their stats were so high that even on 1 HP, they would just insta-kill the Chancellor barehanded. So they couldn't get the achievement anymore.
That's what happens when you overlevel.
Okay. I'm always so afraid of stuff just becoming unobtainable in games. And it feels like that's more relic of older games. Are there any, like, games made in, I don't know, the past 5 years where stuff can just become unobtainable? other than, of course, remakes of old games. Because I know Oblivion and Dark Cloud 2, off the top of my head, have unobtainable content. Content that can become unobtainable. Do you know of any off the top of your head, Azura?
Sorry, any what?
Any games with content where the content can become unobtainable?
Like, even if you just start a new game?
No, like where you would have to start a new game to get it. Like in Dark Cloud 2, if you don't take pictures of certain bosses, you can't get those pictures, and thus you can't get those scoops. If you miss enough of them, you can't get a high enough photography level to get all of the photography rewards.
Missable content is common in a lot of games, particularly RPGs.
Are there any recent games that still have permanently missable content?
Persona 5 comes to mind, Persona 5 Royal in particular.
Isn't Persona 5 Royal just like a remake of Persona 5?
Remake, it is what is referred to as an expanded re-release, but the same applies to the original as well. Basically, there are time limits to get certain things done.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, I'm unclear on the matter. There's one particular social link, confidant, whatever you want to call it, that I'm pretty sure in the original as well as in the remake, you have to complete it, otherwise you literally cannot get like the good ending. However, in Royal, there's another social link that you have to get as high as you can, which admittedly only goes up to 5 instead of 10 because of stuff accessed in the expanded chapter. Basically, if you don't max that one out, along with another character's one that you also have to max out, yeah, you can't access the expanded chapter. Like, straight up,
Lame.
the whole point of the expanded re-release is, like, the big main feature of it is cut off if you do not do those social links to their max before a certain date.
Oh, yeah, I think I've seen that. That's like the villain guy, right?
The villain, the guy who turns out to be the secret villain of the new chapter, as well as the new character introduced in the other new character introduced in the remake. And there is another one who is is a villain, like one of the main villains of the original, who, again, you also need to get that social link maxed as best you can. Well, technically, you don't need to. However, you basically lose access to a couple of conversations and possibly some, skills or whatever that are not really that important if you just don't do it. So that one is a optional one, technically. You only really care about it if you actually want to see, an extra little bits of conversation. But yeah, like if you can miss out on basically, let's put it this way: if
an extra chapter of the game.
Yeah, an extra chapter of the game. It basically it is the expansion of the game that you can just miss out on if you don't do the stuff you need to do that. Oh man, what was it? Wait, wasn't it something that you played recently? It was either something that you played recently or Ellie played recently, that it turned out that, oh yeah, you missed out on getting this thing hours ago.
Do you have any more context to that? I played a lot of things recently.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to remember what it was. Uh, oh no, it wasn't you. Okay, you know what? Now I remember what it was. It was okay, technically not so recent. It was another friend of mine who does streaming. Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. The light
Wait,
arrows are optional, and
wait.
basically you need to use a specific teleport and heal a guy who is sick. Well, he's not so much sick, he's haunted. If you don't deal with the ghost, by the time you get to the area where he's at normally, he'll be dead and thus won't be able to give you the light arrows. So the light arrows are permanently missable.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that is so stupid and arbitrary.
What is?
That you just said.
Oh,
If you just try
okay.
to play the game through casually and don't talk to some random guy at some point, you miss out on. It's not like losing out on a mask in Majora's Mask or anything. It's you lose out on the light arrows.
I mean, of course, the thing is with Majora's Mask, that's also still a relevant one. Because if you miss out on any mask before going, like, to the final portion of the game, you don't get, like,
Well,
the final mask.
but here's the thing about Majora's Mask specifically: you can save the game on the moon.
Oh, so basically just if you get
Just
up
reload
there
your
and
save.
realize you need the masks, you can just go back and you'll be... Right, that's a fair point. There's not...
So
Nothing there is permanently missable, yes.
there is technically, uh, one item that is permanently missable in Majora's Mask. Technically.
And what item is that?
Before reaching the clock tower, you'll come across a treasure chest, and it is the only
Oh,
thing in the
right.
entire game, other than rubies, that you can technically permanently miss. Do you know what's in the chest?
What?
10 Deku Nuts!
Okay, so something that's... Okay, it's not like that's the only place to get Deku Nuts.
Yeah, no.
So that is just one check that is permanently missable.
I mean, you call it a check, but I think that's even skipped in the randomizer, so...
Yes, it is.
Could you imagine if the Majora's Mask randomizer started you at the actual beginning, and if you just forgot to do that check, it would just be cut out permanently? And there's actually something else that's permanently missable in the Minish Cap. Maybe two things. Two more things.
Oh?
Potentially missing out on an empty bottle and the mirror shield.
Okay, how so?
When the player fuses kinstones with Eni, the Goron seen in Lon Lon Ranch that was digging a wall, will have enough strength to access the Goron cave. Later in the game, Link can find caves dedicated to the mole myths. Certain caves have walls that have kinstone fusions, which can cause more Gorons to show up. If the player finds all 6, they can get an empty bottle. If the player beats the game, they can fuse kinstones with one of the Gorons to make a big Goron appear, which can eventually lead to you getting the mirror shield. Due to a glitch in the European version, should said player ask to view skinstones but cancel it afterward, Eni will never fuse with you again, causing you to lose everything in this quest.
Okay, so that's an unintentional one. As you just said, it's due to a programming error.
Yep. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, the Ordon Shield can be destroyed forever, and you cannot get it back. Because while you can buy wooden shields, you cannot get the Ordon Shield design.
Does it have any other functional difference?
Nope, just the aesthetics. The way that people, like, just use games and basically abuse them to find out some of this stuff. 2 of Akko's letters can be accidentally skipped. If, respectively, you use the warp feature in the first dungeon and you don't use it before completing the 6th one.
None of those words made any sense to me.
Yes.
Are you still talking about Twilight Princess?
Yep.
That would be why. I've tried Twilight Princess a little bit, but lost interest.
You get to play as a furry. Okay, you get to play as a wolf.
Honestly, I found it kind of boring.
I mean, the beginning is a royal slog. Like, Twilight Princess, as a game by itself, could be particularly good, but it has so many portions where it's just, okay, get from A to B. This will take you 30 minutes. And eventually you get, like, teleportation to, like, warp around and stuff. But, like, the beginning of the game takes, casually speaking, like, what, an hour plus? Before you can actually go and start doing stuff. Before you can get into the first dungeon, might take a casual player, like, an hour. There's a Legend of Zelda game where you can permanently lose Epona.
How?
In Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, you can use a Link amiibo to summon Epona into the game as a mount. But, like every other horse in the game, she can be killed in combat. While horses can be revived by the Great Horse Fairy, you can only bring back horses you've registered at the stables. So if you summon Epona and let her get killed before you register her, you won't be able to use her at all for the remainder of that playthrough.
Well then.
Yes.
Although, that's not so much permanently missable as it is permanently losable.
Yep. I find that there is a fair distinction between intentionally permanently missable stuff and unintentionally permanently missable stuff. Like, in Oblivion, there is a certain book that's only available in one Mage's Guild in the entire world. But there is also a quest in that game that winds up destroying that Mage's Guild. If you don't have that book before doing that quest, you can't get the book.
I know exactly which one you're talking about, I know exactly which book you're talking about, and I always made... I don't know why, in Oblivion and Skyrim, I've always made it a point, heck, I think even in Morrowind, I've always made it a point to always collect one copy of every book. And the thing is, I think, if I recall correctly, isn't there, like, another quest where you need to actually use that book to get a translation of it, and thus there's a second permanently missable book as a result if you don't do that before the guild is destroyed?
I don't know.
Either way.
Yeah, there's like one NPC that sells a unique spell, and if you like don't talk, it's like if you don't buy that spell from that NPC, well, there's a quest where that NPC will wind up dying, so you can't get that spell anymore.
Now, when you say unique spell, do you mean like that's the only way you can get that spell effect?
Not the spell effect, but the exact characteristics of the spell you cannot get anywhere else, and you cannot craft that specific spell. I think it's the enemy's explode spell, and like if you were to try to craft it yourself, you could only make a like weaker version. Okay. Weaker or more expensive. I think the thing is, there are also those like NPCs that train you in certain skills, and for each skill there's one master trainer that can train you from like level 75 to 100. Obviously, if any of these die, then they're gone forever.
And then obviously the only way to finish leveling those up is to do it manually.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just a given. 90% of the NPCs, if they're dead, they're gone forever. But one of these trainers in particular is special, and by special, I mean special. Have you heard of this one?
Are you trying to say they have mental deficiencies?
No, I'm saying that the player is bound to kill them without realizing that they are the master trainer.
How?
There is a cave in Oblivion that is filled with hostile, how is it pronounced? Altamir? It's been a while since I played. Altmer. Just a whole bunch of identical hostile Altmers. So, you, as a player, more than likely, kill them all. Sounds like something the player would do, right?
Okay, go on.
Congratulations. You can't get, you killed the master trainer.
But
Wait,
was the master trainer also hostile?
Yep. And looked just the same as all the other ones.
So what's the solution?
You have to know which one the master trainer is and cast a high-level comm spell on them so you can actually talk to them. And they're the ones who train the spell school that has comm. I forget which spell school that is. So you have to, I think alteration? You have to already be good enough at it to have a high-level comm spell that you can cast. Preferably multiple times to cast on all of them, because unless you know literally exactly which one it is. And you basically have to either already be casting comm on every naturally hostile enemy and talking to them, or know who it is so you can cast comm on them to get the training.
Very odd choice.
Yeah, I know. Kind of stupid, right?
Like, I thought you were about to say that one of them was unkillable.
No.
Like, his plot protected.
Oh, no. I still remember playing Oblivion, finding NPCs that, like, you are not allowed to kill, and reverse pickpocketing 3 items of, was it Drain Fatigue 5 points on them at once? Just so they would be permanently lying on the ground at you know, negative stamina. Because, while maybe you can't bring their health down to 0, if their stamina is 0, they're collapsed and can't do anything.
See, that's why what you do is you reverse pickpocket that 300-pound ring onto someone.
You can't reverse pickpocket something with a weight any higher than 0.
Oh, well that's dumb.
What you can do is get poisoned apples with a weight of 0, reverse pickpocket them onto guards, wait for the guards to eat the apple, and eventually the guards die. When the new guard gets respawned to cover the guard that died, the new guard will also have the poison effect and will eventually also drop dead. So if you can reverse pickpocket a poison apple on every single guard in the game, all guards will be permanently poisoned, and you can get away with a lot of crimes. Just be careful to obviously never actually eat the poison apple yourself, because there is no way other than console commands to remove the poison effect.
No.
Which actually kind of, hearing about that made me think that could be a really interesting Oblivion challenge run. Beat Oblivion while poisoned. Here's some interesting permanently missable content. There is a game. Actually, wait, I think you would know about this one if I just said, okay. In Cyberpunk, you remember that hotel near the beginning of the game with the special mission in it? Getting the chip and all that?
Sure.
Turns out that we actually missed on a few permanently missable items. I think there's, yeah, a set of clothing, a katana, a pistol, and a pet iguana. Yeah, if you don't get it during that one mission, you can't get any of those items.
Okay.
We could totally have had an iguana. I don't know what we'd do with it. Probably just leave it in our apartment, but still.
Eh. An iguana's not a cat.
I mean, you can get a cat in Cyberpunk, I just don't know where to find it, but I don't think that's permanently missable. Oh.
Anyways.
Hi.
Yes, you are very high.
Yeah, well, I try. Again, a lot of these are kind of older games.
You're an older game.
Oh yeah, that's right. Fable 2 has permanently missable content. Well, was it not permanently missable, permanently, unreobtainable or something? Permanently gone?
I mean,
yeah,
can't you only get the Chicken Chaser, like, title very early on in the game?
I don't think so. I think you can get it, either it's guaranteed or you can get it whenever. No, Fable 2 has... what is it? How do I say this? There is a plot-relevant part of the game where you lose something very important in a cutscene. You're given one chance to get it back. If you miss that chance, in the base game, you cannot ever get it back. And I feel like this game has been out for long enough that I can talk about this without needing to worry about spoiling people. Even though I don't think I've actually ever done a Fable 2 Let's Play, because I've been Fable 2, why would I have to Let's Play it? Could do a Fable 2 co-op Let's Play, that could be a lot of fun.
Wait, did you say you've played it before, so therefore you don't need to Let's Play it?
I've beaten Fable 2, so I don't need to Let's Play it.
You do realize that most people Let's Play games they've played before, right?
Most people do, but I think more than 90% of the games that I do Let's Plays of are games that I have never beaten. Or otherwise I beat them on the channel and then still just want to play them anyway.
So you'd never beaten, say, Rune Factory 4 before the Let's Play? Or Dark Chronicle?
Those are exceptions. Rune Factory 2 I never even played before I played it for the channel. What's my inventory looking?
Yeah, I can tell. I know you've never played it before, considering you had no idea why you didn't have teleport.
But also, to be fair, Dark Cloud and Dark Cloud 2, playing them for the channel, I was at least trying to do challenge runs that I hadn't done before. Same with Rune Factory 4, I did my water and can only run, and it was awesome. But yeah, in Fable 2, at the end of the game, your dog dies. And you're given the option to resurrect them. But if you don't resurrect them, you have to get the Knothole Island DLC and sacrifice a villager to resurrect your dog. Not having a dog means that you can't dig up the dig spots, which means that there is a certain shade of purple dye that you're not able to obtain without your dog.
And you can't collect it before the point of no return at the end?
Oh, you can absolutely collect it before. You can collect it relatively early on in the game. But it's not, like, mandatory to get, so you could beat the game without ever actually getting it. You don't actually need any of the clothing dyes. They are entirely optional. But this one in particular is very noteworthy. So if I do ever play Fable 2 again, I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for it. It is a very lovely color.
Okay.
Not gonna ask what color it is.
You already said it was purple.
Oh. Well, to be specific, this is indigo of the Genius Montoya. You crushed its petals. Prepare to die.